Okay, I just wanted to, in my last video, I mentioned I think I might have said Elijah, but I can't remember, but I meant to say Isaiah. I flipped open to Isaiah 22:22, and so I mentioned that I was going to talk about that. In my last video, I mentioned that, so I'm getting to that now. And so let me just find, basically, so Isaiah, the book of Isaiah, is talking about basically when the mighty hand of God comes down. It's talking about all the proclamations against, so the fall of Babylon proclaimed, the proclamation against Edom, the proclamation against Arabia, the proclamation against Jerusalem, the judgment on Shebna, proclamation against Tyre, I don't even know if I'm saying these right, Tyre, impending judgment on the earth. So let's see where he's talking about, because I went a little bit before that to see what it was. So it's talking about, okay, Egypt, Assyria, and Israel blessed, a sign against Egypt and Ethiopia, proclamation against Egypt, proclamation against Ethiopia, Moab destroyed, proclamation against Syria and Israel, the fall of Lucifer, Babylon destroyed, Philistia destroyed, fall of the kingdom of Babylon, I can't find the actual, basically, so it's in Isaiah somewhere, right around 22:22, and it's talking about how the cornerstone of the church needs to be the throne of God, and if it's not, then you have a crack in your foundation and you really don't have anything that can bear any weight. So kind of like what happened with my tooth. There's a crack. They couldn't save it. There's nothing they can do. And, within the 3 days that I was dealing with it, it got infected and abscessed. And so it's like if you have a crack in your foundation, meaning God's throne isn't the cornerstone of everything that you do, whether it's church, your job, your family, whatever it is. If the throne of God isn't your number one priority, then everything that's built upon that will be infected. And basically a cesspool of just sludge, nothing, from which nothing can grow, no prosperity. So, abscessed, cesspool. And that goes for churches too. It doesn't matter what it looks like. If you're saying that you're praising God and all this stuff, and you don't necessarily need to be like a Bible scholar, but putting God first in your life means there are certain things you have to sacrifice. For me, I don't eat meat, I don't have sex. I did use a little cannabis over the period of time where I had my tooth situation. because it helps you sleep, it helps you eat, it helps take the edge off the pain. I've done extensive research on interleukin 2 and 10 and how it helps with aiding in the manufacturing your body synthesizing the enzyme, the protein that is the interleukin that is the anti-inflammatory. I get the numbers mixed up. It's interleukin 2 and 10. Interleukin 2, I believe, is the anti-inflammatory protein enzyme that your body makes, but I get the numbers mixed up. But one interleukin, your body produces interleukin, okay, it's a protein, an enzyme, and either 2 or 10, one of them's the anti-inflammatory and one's the inflammatory. So what cannabis does, not smoking it per se, but ingesting it, if you have enough to make you know, an oil or a tincture, what it does is, besides making cancer cells apoptosis, meaning it kills itself. Okay, the cancer cell kills itself. It's like the shield, the Bangua mirror. It's like Michael. It shows its, it just shines its mirror and reflects the hideousness of the monster back at itself, and it kills itself. So that's what it does with cancer cells. But with inflammatory, like autoimmune diseases, ascension, whatever you want to call it, it aids in the manufacturing. It aids in your body's synthesis, natural synthesis. It supports the anti-inflammatory interleukin, okay, the production of that, and then it helps to diminish the inflammatory interleukin. So it's a double whammy, as in double, you know, win-win situation. Okay, it does a double. Okay, so it helps lower the inflammation by supporting the enzyme that is anti-inflammatory, and it helps suppress the inflammation by inhibiting the production of the inflammatory. I hope I explained that properly. So anyway, that's why smoking it is not the medicinal way of using cannabis, because you basically are just getting a quick high off the THC and all the medical, all the medically beneficiary components are destroyed by the heat and everything, by the combustion. So anyway, I believe that is given to us from God. It's pineal, it grows wild, it produces seeds that have very high nutritional profile of amino acids and omegas, and it's a wonderful plant, especially for people who have a lot of pain and inflammation, and they don't want to be taking pills and all this stuff that doesn't even do anything anyway, and then they have their own side effects, permanent effects, you know, that steroid creams, it could cause cancer, all kinds of stuff, horrible side effects from pharmaceutical drugs. So anyway, didn't want to get off on a cannabis topic, but so, you know, in Isaiah, right around 22:22, like I said, okay, so it's talking about how the gavel of God and Gaia are coming down. So as above, so below. So God's gavel is coming down, and so is the gavel of Gaia, because Gaia is God expressed into form. So it's that third energy, the Christ. It's the two that make the third. Okay, it's the third energy that contain the two that originally created that flow, and that flow is what creates all of creation, everything you see on earth. Okay, the wind, the stars, all of it. Well, the stars aren't on earth, but so God has to be number one, and that's just all there is to it. You can't be claiming to be a spiritually righteous person and then you're holding shame, doubt, fear in your heart, worried about what other people think, just you know, from the micro to the macro. So you have to treat your body like a temple, you know, get your body moving, eat right, you know, have cake sometimes if you want it or whatever, but you know, sometimes we need that, you know. So I think eating a donut to make you happy is a lot better than going and doing drugs or having sex with someone, or you know. So as long as you keep it balanced, you eat healthy, and then, you know, every once in a while, you know, sometimes I let myself gain a few pounds, 10 pounds or whatever, as long as you don't have to keep buying bigger and bigger clothes, you know, just you can have a lazy week or whatever, you're tired, you just want to eat carbs, do it. But don't keep doing it, you know, don't let it get out of control. Just be aware that that's what you're doing and allow yourself those simple pleasures. But God has to come first, or else we really don't have anything. So with that, let's see where we're at on time. About 18. Okay, so just wanted to talk briefly about a couple things. I had haven't had an update for a while about my twin, but just a brief one last night, or this morning right before I woke up, like always. It's always right before I wake up when I get a message about my twin, and it's always update about growth and progress, because I've made that clear with the angels that I don't need to know anything unless it's an update about growth and progression, maturity, and you know. So it was just a quick little. I was walking up to like a cabin. It's kind of like the same amount of light as like early morning or early evening. You know how it can be kind of just like a little bit of light. So it's, if you've been sleeping for 2 days, it's kind of hard to tell, like, is it morning or evening? And it's kind of like that dusky kind of. It was light, so I could see, but it seemed like it was early morning or early evening, or what I should say, late evening, early morning or late evening. That amount of light, so it kind of had a kind of a dreamy feel to it. But as I walked up to this cabin, there was like this screen door, and I could see my twin behind the screen, and then he was coming out to meet me, like right as I was. And I came outside, and he said, "Oh, we rendezvoused at the same time. We rendezvoused at perfect divine timing," or something like that. Rendezvous and perfect divine timing. And I felt like it was, and I said, because I had this feeling like, didn't we already do this though? And I said that, I'm like, maybe just because if we ever do come into union, if, when, if, whatever, and I haven't seen or talked to him in a year, or seen him or talked to him, so it's like, but I've been getting dreams, and it's like there hasn't been a disconnect, so it was kind of like that feeling, like, oh yeah, we're finally physically together and coming into union in the 3D, but it just feels like I just saw you 2 days ago in my dream, so it was like, I just saw you, it's not a big deal. It was kind of like that. And so, like, anyway, he said that really quick, and I was like, oh, didn't we just do this? And then, like, he just walks past me really quick, and apparently my mom was walking a few strides behind me, and, like, he went up to her and goes and gives her a hug and was like, oh, nice to meet you, da-da-da. I think he said her name, Candace, and then that was it. That was the update with my twin. So it was kind of like the perfect divine timing of, like, they're meeting up with you right when you meet up with them. So it's like right when you take that final step towards them, at the exact same time they're taking that final step towards you, and it's going to happen in unison. And that represents the perfect divine timing, when you're both ready to take that one last step towards each other and then come into union into 3D. But, you know, like for me, I don't really... It might be just another level now of like you kind of release the wanting, because I went through the whole thing like a lot of people are going through right now, because this has been going on for 3 years for me, and so I've gone through all the stages of obsessing with readings and writing, watching my sun, moon, and rising, and then I have a kind of a cusper moon, 2% Cancer, and a cusper rising, only 1% Sag. So I was watching like 2 risings, 2 moons, and then I would watch my twins, sun, moon, and rising. And now like I'm kind of over that. Like I don't watch any specific zodiac readings. I don't watch any of those anymore, and I'm not doing them either. I just don't. You know, like I've just reached this next level where I feel like I'm at a good place in my life. I'm starting to get back into my artwork and writing, and you know, I've been like getting the house and yard all cleaned up, just really getting back into me, my space, my creative flow. So I'm not really like holding out for 3D reunion, and I think maybe for some, or if not most, I don't, you know, whatever, I don't know how many twin flames there are, or how many people are even aware that they're twin flames, or the ones that say they are twin flames and they're really not. You know, all I know is my own journey, and I feel like I've reached a point where I've kind of come to realize that my twin is my twin, just like your mom's your mom, your brother's your brother. You can't get mad and be like, you're not my brother anymore. Well, sorry, we still both have the same mom and dad, so I think that means I'm your brother, and so yeah. So that's how I feel like with my twin. It's like my twin's my twin. I know it, I accept it. Now, you know, life goes on, and my mission, I think the whole twin flame thing triggered me to get back to, you know, who I am, what my boundaries are, putting God first, getting really back into the flow of expressing myself creatively, serving others in a way that isn't depleting for me, yeah, and just being heart-centered and open. And so for me, that's what this whole journey has been about, is getting me back to this place where I'm one with Source. I'm seeing things clearly, my clairsentient, all the clairs are coming back. It's a clair affair. So, yeah, it's like having an affair with yourself. It's like this magical energy, this magical feeling. It really feels like when a tree is finally like mature, like about 5 years, like if it's a fruit or nut tree, I'm not sure all the specifics, but about 5 years it takes for like a peach tree, and you know, to start producing fruit, or any fruit that's like worth, you know, eating or doing any, you know. So I feel like I'm at that 5-year point where it's like, now it's really time to grow and flourish. Like, you've done all the like adolescent work, you know, going through puberty and all that stuff, and now like you're fully like into your body, like your hips have spread as much as they're gonna spread, you're at the weight that you're supposed to be, now you can really, you've done all that groundwork, now you can really explore who you are and let that all unfold in a very magical way. And just getting back to the things that you used to love to do before all this twin flame hell. And just, you know, enjoying that. Like, I go on walks almost every day. My hip's killing me today, so I probably won't, but God's made the weather nice and cool the last couple days because I've had to do errands and yard work, and so that's been a blessing. It's very much a fall day today. I'm feeling that you know, that Halloween and fall energy coming in, that getting cozied up for the winter, you know. So I'm just enjoying my life, my home, my son and I, just having fun with him, enjoying that he seems a lot happier now. There were some bad energies we were both going through about a week ago, so it was kind of rough, and with the tooth pain and it, you know, flaring up a little bit, and just a lot of like final purging, it felt like. Yeah, so I feel like I'm in a really good place, and so I know that there's other people that are where I am too, and it's not about giving up on the twin flame journey. It's like, it's like another level now, kind of. Not like a self-righteous thing, just like a natural progression, just like coming out of adolescence, out of puberty, and now you're like, you know, your boobs are fully developed and or whatever, you know. Beep. So, yeah, I was going to do a reading too. I'm going to have to do that on a separate one. I think I'll do a tarot reading, and then I'll do an oracle reading separate. So, yeah, and then, yeah, so I just wanted to share the little update about my twin, and then how we need to put God first. How, well, cannabis can be very helpful, and especially if you've already gone through the gamut of dealing with doctors for 3 years, you've done extensive research on cannabis, you know, it's not like, you know, I was going to say a drug. It's a medicine that's supposed to be respected. And, you know, there's lots of states, including California, where you can grow it. And then there's clubs and this and that. But it's like, but legally, federally, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to have a card because you have whatever disability. And you're allowed to grow your own medicine. You're not allowed to furnish, trade, sell. That means you can't give it away to anyone. You can't trade it for something else. You can't sell it to a club. So there's, you know, there's that thing about how people just want to get high and make a bunch of money, and they're not in the thing for healing. Okay, just like there's readers and spiritual teachers and healers, quote unquote, that, you know, they're not in it for that either. They're in it for the money and the minimum input to get maximum output, and doing as little as possible and trying to get as much money as you can out of it, and then realizing that doesn't work. So, you know, being fraudulent, I think it's very important to be authentic and be true to who you are, and even if that comes across as, maybe I can come across as egoic sometimes, but, you know, I'm standing in my truth and, you know, defending myself for whatever reason I feel I need to do that, and the spirit flows through me, and that's just how it comes out. And, okay, I got about 6 more minutes. So, yeah, so, yeah, we're going to be tested and questioned and asked if we're really doing what we're supposed to be doing. We're saying we're putting God first, and so we're against, you know, like, all that evil shit of animal sacrifice and blah, 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 and then we're shoving ham sandwiches down our throat. And it's like, any form of flesh, you know, You can find it in the Bible, you can find it in your dreams, you can find it just talking to God. It doesn't matter where you find the answer. That's the answer. We're not supposed to be eating flesh. Anything that requires the animal to die, okay, it's flesh. Anything with gelatin in it, you have to boil down the hooves and stuff like that to get glue, gelatin, all. So that, you know, we need to really examine our lives and our choices. And, you know, we can poison ourselves with drugs, with food, with bad thoughts. A routine can be poisonous because you just get locked into the subconscious way of just, you're not consciously in your life. That can lead to all kinds of havoc being wreaked on your life. So don't let the devil wreak havoc on your life. Be in control. Know what your power is. See, that's what the devil's always trying to do. The devil's always trying to trick you into believing that you're not all powerful like God. And God keeps trying to tell you, God keeps trying to remind you how powerful you are. So the devil keeps trying to help you forget, and God keeps trying to help remind you, to help you remember. So just, you know, remember who you are. And we forget, we get locked into unhealthy stuff. And it's not about bad, good. It's like, is it helping to enhance your life? Is it healthy? Okay? That's what we need. We don't, you know, sometimes, yeah, a cookie may not be like calorically, okay, speaking, it's not healthy, but it might give you a boost of serotonin and dopamine that you might really need in that moment. You know, as long as you're not always going to food and you're not always, you know, but if, you know, you're a strong person and you deal with your shit, and, you know, every once in a while you just want to have a cookie or you just want to have a drink every once in a while, the shame about it is the thing that's worse than anything. And so put God first. Use natural medicines and natural ways of processing your stuff. You know, meditation. If you have physical ailments, ingesting cannabis is the safest way to do it, and I agree with doing it all legally, not participating in selling it and trading and all that. No. I'm all about legal schmeagle. So, but because of certain situations, I can't do that. I can't grow my own medicine. So luckily I have beautiful people who it passes through them and they pass it along to me. I know you're not supposed to furnish, give it away, this, that, but it's really stupid that the situation is like that. Excuse me, sorry for bumping that. But hopefully federally it'll be legal all the way up and down. It's considered a Schedule 1 drug. Okay, that's in line with, I think other Schedule 1 drugs are PCP, cocaine, heroin, I believe. I mean, come on, cannabis with PCP, people. Okay, these laws, how long have they been sitting on the books like that? It's ridiculous. But it's coming. I keep sending energy to that to get it federally legal, so the people who are on disability, who get Section 8, who really have disabilities, okay? Once it's federally legal schmeagle all the way up and down, no one's going to be making money off of it. Okay, all these hippy dippy trippy whatever people who think they're all healers and down to earth, and all they're really doing is just being a bunch of dopes and trying to make money off of, you know, living the easy life. Well, how easy is that? How's that working out for you? But yeah, it makes me angry sometimes because I don't have a right to my medicine, and I think it's so silly, and these laws need to be changed. And it's another reason why I'm scaling back on readings and stuff, because I want to